Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to get this Best Paper Award today. And my name is Weiwei Chen from University College London. Currently, I'm a lecturer at Bartlett School of Sustainable Construction. And I'm also a visiting academic fellow at University of Cambridge. Today, my presentation is CrackGauGAN, semantic layout-based crack image synthesis for automatic crack segmentation. My presentation includes several sections. Firstly, is the background information, why we focus on this research, and then followed by the motivation and the inspiration. Then I will introduce the methodology and the three key innovations in my study, and followed by the experiment result to show the good performance in our research. And finally, it's the conclusion and the future work. As we know, and it's in the global, every year there are some accidents in the infrastructure, as we can see from image. The first image to show the Xinhai Bay Bridge in Dalian. This bridge was built in 2015, but there are the huge cracks appears in 2018. And the next case is the Ningfangbao Bridge in Taiwan, and it's totally collapsed in 2019. And it resulted in 20 people died on that day. So it's a disaster. And as we know, we do the calculation in China, United States, and Europe, and the aging infrastructure, particularly the bridges, present a significant concern. So we have to focus on the bridge inspection and the maintenance every year. And we can see the figures. We do the research and find in the last 5 years, the total annual inspection cost is over $4.5 billion every year. And the maintenance cost is over 45 billion. So it's a huge demanding for us, focus on the inspection and the maintenance. And this image also show there are many aging infrastructure, especially the bridge, the conditions in fair and poor. So that's the significant research area we have to focus on. And when we focus on the inspection and the crack detection is essential for us to ensure the structural safety and making the accurate maintenance decision before the disaster happen, before the accident happen. And as we can see, the traditional way for the inspection is a human eye crack inspection. This machine is positioning the people to see closely to check the crack. But it's risky and costly. It's also labor intensive. So as we know now, we have the AI technology. We also have the ChatGPT and many new technology we can use for the crack detection using the new technology. So the deep learning method, we can process the images we collected from the infrastructure. So it can replace the subjective method, the human eye inspection. So the deep learning method show the high robustness and the high pixel level accuracy recognition. This one is show the method we use for one conference we already published. It's like the convolutional network, so we can detect the crack quickly and accurately. But we know for the deep learning method, we have to have the sufficient and the diverse training data to consider the key factors. That's the potential for this algorithm. However, we know it's not easy to get the sufficient numbers of the crack images because it's highly specialized and a labor-intensive task. I think many research already use the camera to get the high-resolution images, but we have to label, right? We have to label and annotate the images by manual, so it's very time-consuming. And as the insufficient database can also lead to the network overfitting, so it's another problem we have to address. Currently, we have some data augmentation methods, like we can rotate the original image, we can mirror the original image, and also we can chop the image. But this method cannot improve the diversity of the crack samples because we just do the physical changes for the images. So afterwards, we want to propose to use some new techniques. And after we did the little review, we think the generative adversary networks, the GAN, may help us to address this problem. The GAN is a cut-edge approach to generating the synthetic data. And I think maybe some research already know GANs has two networks. One is the generation network, one is the discrimination network. So it calls generator and the discriminator. In the generator, we input the noise data, so we can create the synthetic images from noise. And the discriminators can help us to evaluate the authenticity against the raw images, so we can know the image is real or not. So we can see we put the noise data and we get the generative crack images. However, this solution also has the limitation. The generative images still needed to be pixel-wise labeled for training the segmentation method. So we still have to label this. So afterwards, we think, so can we obtain the corresponding semantic label as well as generating the crack images at the same time? So with this question, we look at small solutions. One is a GauGAN. I think this one can help us to address this problem. Why? Because this one can create the realistic images based on the semantic layout, okay? Due to adaptation, you can see due to adaptation of SPADE module, and GauGAN can effectively control the stylistic attributions of the generative images based on the different input background images. How it works. You can see in here, we can put the semantic layout. And based on the semantic layout, it can automatically generate the new images in different scenes. And we can also input the different background information. So it can automatically generate the images and with the semantic layout we want. It has another advantage is we input the semantic layout. The semantic layout is already be labeled. So after we get those datasets, we generate these datasets, all data already be labeled. So we can avoid the tedious annotation process. That's the advantages of the GauGAN. We want to adopt this one for the crack detection process. Okay. Until now, we would like leverage the GauGAN capability in generating the nature scenes image database to produce the pixel labeled crack images. And so we can supply in the diversity data for the crack segmentation. You can see we input the background style information and we input the semantic layout, and after we processing use the GauGAN methods, we can generate the crack images, this one. And this is the ground truth. But we found this, the GauGAN still has the limitation because the imager is the blurring and the artifacts. So how can we address this problem? What's the reason? And then we go deeper to find that there are two reasons to happen during the process. The first one is the crack lacks the fixed shapes and the significant semantic segmentation. And another reason is the available open source data is significant feeder, so we cannot process this quickly and get the images in high accuracy. So based on this, we propose 3 key innovations in our research. And the first one is Criminisi-based crack inpainting. And it can help us to generate the decoup background color features. The next one is texture peer information extraction. So it helps us to decouple the background texture information. And the third one is adaptive pseudo-augmentation. It addresses the overfitting. And based on these three innovations, we gave the new name for our method. It's CrackGauGAN. Okay, let's see how we complete this step by step. The first one, you can see we can determine the target area in the first image, and then we select the target patch area. And afterwards, we select the reference patch. And finally, we can generate the texture and the structure replicated in the target area. So gradually, we can generate the new images for the whole target area. This is an example. We can remove the crack area. You can see this one is the raw image, and afterwards we get this the images we can get the pure background information, background images. The next innovation is from the original images, we can we put the image to the grayscale, and then we focus on the decomposed image into sub-brown images. There are 4 steps. There are 4 types. One is the edge in low frequency in horizon and low frequency in vertical. One in low frequency in horizon and high frequency in vertical. And high frequency in vertical and low frequency in horizon, and high frequency in horizon and high frequency in vertical. So in this process, we can get the fine details and noise in images. Afterwards, we get these images in the last, get the fine edge detection images. So that's a process for the second innovation. And in this part, we can decouple the texture, okay? And we also compare our method with other traditional methods. You can see in the sub-edge detection and the canning edge detection, the texture is not very clear. And we also compare with the DWT and the PSO edge detection. And it can reduce the noise, but it can notice to, but it's struggling with the accurately representing the texture variation due to the contrast difference. And this is our method. You can see we get this one more realistic texture information and the significant less background noise. Okay, so we get the good result. The third innovation is we use the adaptive pseudo-augmentation strategy. The first one, we identify the overfitting, and then followed by to adjust the augmentation intensity here. And the third step is apply the augmentation, so we can get the whole feedback loop to generate the augmented structure to get the feedback to optimize the performance. So we migrate the overfitting. And afterwards, we also compare our research. That's the result. We can see with our results, we can get the IS and the FID. The IS is higher is better. FID is lower is better. So our iteration can happen in the 900 times. And for the texture pre-extraction, we put the data from 0%, 25%, and until 100% in different texture intensity to validate our method. And we get the clear ground generated cracks and the fewer artifacts. For the third one, you can see for the deterioration, if we use the G-loss and the D-loss in the CrackGauGAN, it can be stable from 500 times until 900 times. The performance is very good. Okay. And afterwards, we also do the qualitative comparison with SOTA method. And the ground truth, that's the ground truth, the background, and the input semantic input we name mask. And in our result, you can see the CrackGauGAN can vary in the levels of noise. The input doesn't affect the clarity of the images. So we also compare with the pixel to pixel and GauGAN. And you can see in our results, we get the good performance without blur and the artifacts. Okay, in the quantitative results, as I mentioned, for the IS is higher is better, FID is lower is better. We also put the different propagation to validate our method. We find this the different propagation random noise has almost no impact on the evolution metrics. So compared in the quantitative and qualitative results, our methods can ensure the more accuracy and reliable crack image detection, crack image generation, sorry. Okay, let's move to the conclusion. In the whole research, there are 3 big contributions. The first one is we enhance the image quality. We produce the high fidelity crack images with clean delineation and minimal background noise. And then the second one is decouple the key factors in the 3 steps. The first one for the background color, and then the background texture, and then the crack morphology. And the last one is the robust training data. We can use the limited data to generate the unlimited number of the realistic image for the future crack detection. In the future, I think now we only focus on the pavement crack. So in the future, we want to focus on more detailed crack attributes and also focus on more variables, various types of damages like the concrete, the corrosion, and the water seep. So we can apply this method into different infrastructures. Those are reference for this, partially reference for this research. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for this excellent presentation. We have 1 question or 2 questions, please, if there is anyone who are interested by a question. Yes, please. Can you present yourself and ask your question, please?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Koshi Verghese from IIT Madras. Thank you for the presentation. It was really, really good. My question is towards the future work, or to understand what you have actually done so far. It's basically to detect any kind of a crack on a pavement or a concrete surface. What are you focusing on?
You mean currently?
Currently.
Currently, we focus on the crack. Yeah, only for crack.
It can be anywhere, pavement or on a concrete surface.
Yes, it can be pavement. It can be the bridge. Yeah, bridge pavement and under the pavement.
No, just that our experience in the infrastructure was cracking in concrete. You can have structural cracks, you can have surface cracks, you can have so many different cracks, which you then have to start distinguishing between. So right now, from what I understand, it's only the geometry that you are, it's more a clarification than a question. It's only the geometry that you are detecting.
So it means for the different infrastructure situation, how can we adopt our method?
Yeah, that would be the next step. But even right now, if it's a concrete, I would see a crack on it. It might not have a structural implication.
You mean for the implementation process? Yeah, it's a good question. Now we just test our methods in the lab. So for the future in the implementation.
So it's more of a geometry detection right now rather than any other engineering detection.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we generated this from the open database. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you much. We have no time for a second. Yes, please. Very quick question, please, in this case.
Okay. I'm an undergraduate student from University of Macau, and I have a question that you mentioned the generated images still need to be enabled for training. So my question is, how do you think about weakly supervised learning in such a scenario? For example, you can label some crack as have defect and others not have defect, and you can apply weakly supervised learning, so it won't need to actually label the crack. What's your opinion about weakly supervised learning for incorporating into your method? Yeah.
So you mean supervised learning and unsupervised learning?
No, weakly supervised learning. Weakly supervised learning.
Weakly supervised.
Yeah.
So you mean?
Yeah, because you mentioned that your generated images still need to be labeled for training. So like the pixel value, you still need to have this annotations. So my question is, maybe I actually saw some researchers that are doing weakly supervised learning for the crack segmentation, and they actually don't need to label any such localization annotation now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you mean some method you don't need to label the data sets so you can process for the crack detection, right?
Yes.
In this one, we generate the data sets with the labeled because we input the semantic layouts and the realistic features. So we automatically generate these data sets with labeled. So in this research, we don't consider the unlabeled data.
Thank you. Last question, please, Professor Fagad.
Pardon, how many?
The percentage of the labeling, how many % of the images did you have to label before the training?
Maybe my student can answer these questions because he conducted it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, we use 3 data sets from the online. We use 3 online data sets.
Yes, we use the open source data sets, and the data sets include the CFD and SDNet 2018 and the Crack 500. It's all about the payment segmentation data sets, Crack data sets.
Okay. No, I'll have a chat with you outside. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.